All right. So left off on the for loop. So Jacob M., can you read this one?
Loops can execute a block of code a number of times. They're handy when you want to run the same code repeatedly, adding a different value each time. JavaScript has three types of loops: for, while, and do while. Well, start with the classic for loop. Here's the syntax. For statement 1, statement 2, statement 3, block code to be executed. And here's what happens when it runs. Statement 1 is executed before the loop, the code block starts. Statement 2 defines the condition for running the loop, the code block. Statement 3 is executed each time after the loop, the code block has been executed. Heads up, as you can see, the classic for loop has three components or statements.
So you'll be using for loops the most, really. And because, so with statement 1, really what you're doing with statement 1 is you're defining your variables. So like, for example, if we were doing a while loop, you would define your variable, like, let's say I equals 0 for the starting number, right, in your while loop. Instead of putting that outside the loop in the while loop, the for loop, you just put that right here. So you'd say, for example, I equals 0, and that's just something to be used in the loop. And then in this next statement, for example, let's say you wanted to run the loop 10 times, right? You'd say while, well, you wouldn't type while, you would just do I less than or equal to 9, right? Or you could just do I less than I'm trying to think which way that would go. Less than 10. Well, anyway, you say, while I is less than, or equal to 10, or no, equal to 9, because 0 starts with the first one. Sorry, that's confusing. And the second statement is saying, while that condition is true, keep executing it. So we've already defined I equals 0, and we're saying less than or equal to 10. And then over here in your third one, usually you'd put like I plus plus, right? And remember we learned what I plus plus is it's increment. It's an incrementer, right? And it increments I by 1, right? So it's the same as saying like I equals I plus 1, right? So whatever I is plus 1. So we're saying, so this one sets the variables, this one defines the condition that it's going to keep running for, and this one says, okay, what to do after the loop. So and what it's doing while is, this is true or whatever, is it's doing the stuff in this code. So for example, if we had a list of 10 items, right? And the list has, the index. So, so like the list name, and then in your parentheses, you've got like I, right? Because the first one's 0, so it's going to get the first number on the list. Then it's going to, once that's done, it's going to increase it by 1. So it's going to go to to 1, and then 2, and then so on and so forth, right? It's basically a way of iterating over like a list, or later you'll learn about like map objects and like all sorts of other things that you can iterate over. But basically just executing it for all the things in your code. Yes, what's up, Michael?
It might be jumping the gun, but are we able to see like a very simple explanation of this, like visually? Or we maybe it's probably coming up too, though.
It's probably
Yeah, in about
it's
2
probably-
slides, it comes up with an example, exactly what he was explaining.
Okay, cool.
Okay, great. Well, then we'll continue on. Oh, well, anyway, there's
Three.
the answer. 3. My bad. I forgot. I'm supposed to wait for y'all. All right. So yeah, this is like exactly like what I was talking about. So like when we run this, then it's I changes for each one. So it starts at 1. So the first time it prints, it's 1. Then once the loop is done and it's printed that in the break, it increases by 1. So it becomes 2, and so on and so forth till it gets through the loop. Does that make sense now? Okay. I actually have to run to the restroom, but Patricia, can you read this one? I'll be back.
Should I read it now or wait?
I would just go ahead and read it. He's, I mean,
Okay,
if we get a question, we can just stop and wait for him or something.
okay, cool. I'm reading it off the shared screen because I'm not as far as you guys. I'm a little behind. The for loop, or is that what it says? The for loop. Now we've got the theory. Let's look at a specific example. This example creates a for loop that prints numbers 1 through 5. So what's actually happening? In this example, statement 1 sets a variable before the loop starts. Var I equals 1. Statement 2 defines the condition for the loop to run. It must be less than or equal to 5. Statement 3 increases a value I++ each time the code block in the loop has been executed. Result, and I have to wait till it scrolls down.
Hey, Kevin, can you answer a question on this real quick?
Yeah, what's up?
So in this example they gave, if the statement 2 was changed to I equals greater than equal to or less than, if we change that number of 5 to 1,000, would it just print all the way 1 to 1,000 until it reached that?
Yes, that is the condition. It'll do, and that's the thing about code, is code will do exactly what you tell it. Even
Got
if you tell it something that's completely stupid or you put too many zeros, it's going to do it.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. I'm back. Did you guys finish reading all this?
No, because I'm reading it off your screen because I'm not as far. 'Cause
Oh, okay.
I only got to 17.1. I wasn't
Oh.
sure that you guys were that far ahead.
Oh, okay.
Okay, is this where we left off now?
Yeah.
Okay, statement 1 is optional and can be left out if your values are set before the loop starts. You can also initiate more than one value in statement 1 using commas to separate them. Heads up, ES6 introduces other for loop types. You can learn about them in the ES6 course later.
And ES6 is just like we've learned CSS3, right, and HTML5. Well, ES6 is like JavaScript 6. Even though it's not JS6, I forget exactly what it stands for, but we'll learn what it stands for later. Yeah, so let me go through. So like they were saying with this one, so this would be more this is more similar to a while loop, where in a while loop, you're going to define your variables outside the loop, but before you do your while loop. So honestly, if that's what you were going to do, you might as well just use the while loop if you're going to define it before. But you could like have a case where a variable is something that was user defined or is auto generated or something, or whatnot. And so like if you wanted to just leave that out, you could. And yeah, so then when you run that, it still does the same thing. It's just the variables were set prior to defining the loop. So and yeah, just like with this, you can do multiple variables right here. So let's actually change this. Let's do actually put text in here. And we'll do plus equals 5. So you see here, like if you're wanting to use multiple variables, you can. And this right here is just printing whatever I is. And then remember with the plus equals, you guys learned about, you can add to whatever your thing is. Even if it's like this is a string, you can add strings to it and combine it. And yeah. All right, so moving on. If you guys could start this one, and hold on, let me. There, I'm trying to get it so y'all can't see it. There you go. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. And once you get this done, just raise your hand. It's almost like you did this beforehand, Kevin.
Yeah, I did this a couple of years ago.
Yeah. All right. Looks like a lot of you guys are done. So we'll go ahead and go over this one. So it wants you to print whatever. So again, the read line is just whatever input that Sololearn's randomly inputting. And it wants you to print whatever it was 3 times. So we just start by defining our variable, and we could also do I equals 0 and less than or equal to 2 as well. The same thing would you get the same result. And so we're saying, wow, I is less than or equal to 3, then do this. So prints it 1 time, and then at the end, it increases I by 1. So prints it the 2nd time, increases I by 1, and it's done. It's good to go. So is anybody, so you guys can lower your hands. Does anybody struggling with this, still not able to get it to work, having issues? Just speak up and just let me know.
And the example on your screen, Brandon, the
Uh-huh.
console.log and the word expression there in parentheses, is that what we should have?
Yeah. Because they want, well,
I thought we would put an X there because that's
yeah, no, they want, it doesn't say to do the console log, but I mean, that's what works if you do the console.log, because that's what we were doing on the other ones. But what were you saying, have the X there?
because I thought we were gonna have it write the variable 3 times or what it, I don't know.
It's whatever input they put, they wanted 3 times. So like, and you can look at the example input is a good thing to look at this in the output. It tells you exactly what it's looking for. So it's saying, okay, for example, if we input in this expression right here, if we put learning is fun, you should log to the console, learning is fun, learning is fun, learning is fun. So that's what it's wanting you to output to the
Okay.
console is whatever the input is. And it could change, like when we run this, they might not always put learning is fun. They might put yeah, see, JS is awesome, and who knows what they put for the other one, right? So they're just saying, okay, if we give you this input, your output to the console needs to be the same thing 3 times, is what they were saying in that time, right?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. I did the condition incorrectly. I put the variable times 3, not thinking that it wouldn't work anyway. And now that I'm rereading it and seeing it done correctly, I just thought about it wrong.
Oh, okay, no worries. But you understand how for loops and everything work now?
For this example, yeah, I do.
Okay, cool. Well, if you understand this example, you'll understand pretty much all examples, because it's the same thing. I mean, your after condition isn't always necessarily just plus equals 1, but it's just whatever you want it to do once it's done, right? So I mean, you could want it to increase by 2 or something and do every other one or something, but I mean, other than that, it's pretty much the same. I mean, you could have different conditions. It might be like once whatever equals true, or basically it's just whatever you define. But as long as you understand the basic principle of, first we define our variables, then we set whatever condition we want the loop to continue for until it's no longer true, and then what we want it to do after it does the stuff in this block. As long as you understand that, then you'll be good to go.
And
So-
just to confirm, it's going to read that first variable and condition. That's the loop. It's going to read that until that condition is completely met. Is that right? So like I equals on the example they've given here.
Yeah, so it's just like this I equals 1. It's just it's just a variable that it's setting that it's going to
Right.
use in the loop. But like it said before, how you could have this defined outside the loop, I equals 1, right? So it doesn't really matter what you know, whether you have it in either spot. But what matters is that this is, as long as this condition is true, it's going to keep executing it. So like you can screw up loops, absolutely, and like forget to put this I++, and then you'll get an infinite loop that just goes.
It'll just run it forever, never reaching that condition.
Right, and like your processor will keep trying to process it, and it's like, and then you get errors and stuff, or you just like your page like looks like it's loading forever.
Okay, that works.
Yeah. So it keeps checking, like this number can increase, and it generally is going to increase. But yeah, it keeps checking. It compares, okay, now is I still less than or equal to 5? Oh, okay, it's no longer. All right, then we're gonna stop. Make sense?
Yeah, it does. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. All right, so you guys go ahead and answer the next question. And I'll give you guys a few seconds to answer the next question until I move to it. Okay. So for this one, create a valid for loop, and we're just doing, you know, for, you know, this while k is less than 10, and then putting our separator or semicolon and our squiggly bracket, or what's that called, curly bracket. So moving on. Michael, can you read this one?
Sorry, I was trying to backfill that code because I didn't have it correct yet.
Oh, okay. No
Let
worries.
me-
You need me to go back
Yeah, could you pop it back up real quick?
for this one or the other one?
The last one we were on, I was trying to do it off memory because we had moved on.
Oh, okay.
The practice one.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, I'm probably going to share my screen because it's just not working for me on here.
Okay. There you go. Oh, you put X++. It's got to be an I on line 2. Now I just hit run.
There we go.
Yep.
All right, let me get back into that.
Yeah, and just remember the last one, the last condition is what happens after the loop. And since you want to change the while condition, you got to make sure that you're increasing the one in that first one. So like you're increasing the I, right? So that it's not I forever. Because if it tried to execute your loop, it would do that forever, right? Because you never increased
Right.
I. So
Okay. All right. Fill in the blanks. All right. The for loop. If statement 2 returns true, the loop will start over again. If it returns false, the loop will end. Statement 2 is also optional, but only if you put a break inside the loop. Otherwise, the loop will never end. Statement 3 is used to change the initial variable. It can do anything, including negative increments, positive increments. Example of I equals I plus 15. And statement 3 is also optional, but if you increment your values inside the loop, look like this. but only if you increment your values inside the loop like this. And heads up, you can have multiple nested for loops.
All right. So at this point, you really might as well do a while loop. If you're increasing it inside your loop and you're defining your variable, like that's the same thing. Like we run this, and that's the same thing as making this a while loop, which you'll learn about next. While loop just doesn't have the beginning and end thing. It just does it. See, we run that, it's the exact same thing. The while loop just doesn't have the define the variables beforehand and tell the loop what to do after it's done executing. So that's the difference about that. Oh, Jacob, is your hand up just because you forgot to lower it, or did you have a question?
I forgot to lower.
Oh, okay, no worries. But yeah, you can in your for loop not define those, but then it's pointless to do a for loop at that point. And when it's talking about with adding the break, so let me show you the
That just puts it sequentially
So, like,
down.
yeah. So like if we just did if we didn't have this and it kept going and we did if I equals 10. Oh wait, it's not Python, it's JavaScript. If I equals 10, break, right? So we run that and it does the same thing. So we didn't define anything. We didn't define our variables in the start. We didn't define our condition. We're basically just saying keep going until I add a break. And we didn't do anything at the end because we increased it here. So it is possible to do nothing if you want it to just run forever until you run a break. And that's what it was talking about. Any questions on that, on the adding a break in statement? No questions? Okay. Oh, well, here's the answer to this one. Give you guys a couple seconds. Keep doing that.
Oh,
Okay, so it's 20 and 2. Moving on. And now the while loop that I was just talking about. Kevin, can you read this one?
The while loop. Time to move on to the second of our 3 loop statements, while. The while loop repeats through a block of code, but only as long as the specified condition is true. Here's the syntax. Heads up, the condition can be any conditional statement that returns true or false.
All right, and I'll give you guys a second to answer the question. Okay. And the answer is a Boolean value, true or false. Because this condition, it's going to keep doing it while it's true until it returns false. Lewis, can you read this one?
Oh, sorry, I'm trying to catch up.
Oh, okay, never mind. I'll have somebody else do it. David, can you read this one?
The while loop. Okay, we've got the theory, so let's look at a real example. The loop in this code will continue to run as long as I is less than or equal to 10. And each time the loop runs, it will increase by 1. This will output the value from 0 to 10. Heads up, be careful when writing conditions. If a condition is always true, the loop will run forever.
All right, so let's look at this in action. It's just, while this condition is true, while I is equal to 10, and we've defined the variable up here, and we're saying, okay, once you're done with this, increase it by 1, because that's what the plus plus is for, right? And it's just printing it. So like we could change this to 100, and it'd keep going till it gets to 100. It just keeps going until the condition is true. So any questions on the while loop? Or it keeps going until the condition is no longer true, is what I meant to say. Okay, if no questions, then go ahead and start on the practice and raise your hand once you're done. And if you have any questions, you get stuck, just let it out. And on this one, remember, so before we were doing plus plus, but remember you can also use the decrement, which is, whatever minus minus. So just something to consider while you're doing this. And just remember to do the raise hand emoji once you're done. If you guys are struggling or have any questions, just let me know.
It says my output execution timed out.
Okay,
That's named.
it's probably because you have an infinite loop going. So make sure that you're doing your decrement to make sure that it eventually gets to 0. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, all right. Looks like a lot of you are done. So let's go ahead and move this over. So it wanted us to create a program timer that gets down to 0, right? So this is just the seconds that it starts with, right? So it could start with 20, 50, 3, whatever, right? It's the random input. And so then we're going to say, wow, seconds is less than or equal to 0 because it wants you to eventually print 0. We're going to console log however many current seconds and then minus seconds minus, which is the decrement until it gets to 0. So anybody still struggling to get that to work for them?
Yes, I'm still having a output execution timed out.
Okay, did you add this seconds
Yeah.
decrement? Okay, then let you do screen share. And the rest of you guys can lower your hands. Yours is you have to have the first of all, it's got to be a less than. So like the seconds or no, sorry, you're right, it's greater than, but the greater than has to be before the seconds. So, yeah, delete that, and then, oh, no, oh, sorry, before the equals is what I meant. Yeah, and then delete that other greater than, and now hit run. Okay, you're good to go. Yeah, so just always remember when you're doing a greater than equals, that the equals always goes second. So, anybody else struggling, need help? No? Okay. Moving on. I'll give you guys a couple seconds to answer the next question. All right. So this one, just creating a while loop. And yeah, so this is the same as doing a plus plus, right? An increment, because it's just taking whatever X was and then adding one to it is the new X.
What are we looking at?
The answer to the next question. So like we were here and then to the next question.
You're not screen sharing your screen.
Oh, my bad. Thank you. Yeah, there you go. So while 5 and X. All right. Roger Chang, can you read this one?
All right, the while loop. Endless loops are not good. And one way of this happening is if we forget to increase the variable used in the condition. Heads up, make sure the condition in a while loop eventually becomes false.
All right. I'll give you guys a second to answer the next question. So how many times will while loop run? Infinite. And Mark H, can you read this one?
The do while loop. Almost done with the loop, so you're doing great. The last loop we're looking at it in this module is the do while loop. It's a variant of the while loop, but with one important difference. The loop will execute the code block once before checking if the condition is true, and then it will repeat the loop as long as the condition is true. Heads up. Note the semicolon used at the end of the do while loop. This is important. This example prints out numbers 20 to 25. Heads up, the loop will always be executed at least once, even if the condition is false, because the code block is executed before the condition is tested.
Yeah, so does that make sense to y'all? It's always going to do it at least once. Long story short, it's the only difference between the while loop and the do while loop. So it's going to do whatever's in this block of code at least once, but then as many times until this condition right here is until it's no longer true. And with this one, we define our variables beforehand. Any questions on that? Nope. Okay. All right. Oh, well, there you go. Do while. Okay. Will, can you read this one?
We've met the break statement earlier in the module. We used up the jump out of the loop and continue to execute the code after the loop. Like this, in this example, once I reach 5, it will break out of the loop. Heads up, you can use the return keyword to return some value immediately from the loop inside of a function. This will also break the loop.
And we'll get to that when we get to functions. Or did we already cover? Did we cover functions already? No? Okay. Well, all right. So with this, so it's just saying, you know, if you get to this break, even though it would continue forever. And let's do an example of continue. So what continue does is it doesn't break the loop, it just breaks what's going on here in the loop. So when we run this, see, it doesn't print 5 because we did continue. So we didn't want to break the loop and end the loop altogether. All we wanted to do was stop running the rest of the conditions just for that iteration of the loop. Does that make sense, or any questions on that? Okay, so again, break ends the loop entirely once it reaches that condition, even though it would keep going normally, and continue just breaks the loop for that one iteration. All right, I'll give you guys a second to answer the question. All right, the break statement ends the execution of the loop altogether. Peter, can you read this one?
Can anyone hear me?
What was that? Or you're getting caught up?
We are nearly done with model 3. One last thing to cover. Unlike the break statement, the continuous statement breaks only one iteration in the loop and continues with the next iteration. Try to solve. Write a program to number 15, room skipping the number 13.
Okay, and I'm not gonna do this one because we just did that. But go ahead and so here, let me. Never mind, I'm just gonna pull it up. All right, so go ahead and do this, and then just raise your guys' hands once you are done. All right, well, a lot of you are done, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. So it's wanting us to number from 1 to 15, right? But it's wanting us to skip floor 13. So we're just doing a regular for loop. So defining our variable I equals 1, because the first one it wants to print is going to be 1, right? And then for our condition, while it's less than or equal to 16, and the reason being 16 as opposed to 15 is because we need 15 rooms, but we're not going to include 13. So we have to go one more, right? And then we're increasing it by 1. And so when we get to 13, if I equals 13, continue and don't log I, and that's all we have to do. So anybody struggling with this one, need help with it? And the rest of you guys can lower your hands. All right, I'll assume you're all good to go then. And take a second to answer the next question. What's up, David? Did you need help with the last one?
Yeah, I'm having problems with it.
Okay. Were you able to put it like this here?
I'm trying.
Okay. Do you
But
want to do screen
it's-
share? Well, you need your curly brackets for your if statement. So at the end of line 3, add your opening curly bracket.
I need the curly bracket where?
At the end of line 3, because after your if statements, you put your curly brackets to show that, okay, execute the block of code that's inside this curly bracket. So then at the end of line 4, put your closing curly bracket. And then in between each of your statements on line 2, so like in between I equals 1 and I less than 16, put your semicolons.
That's what I was missing.
All right. Yeah, okay, that should be good. Okay, hit run. Oh, no, you've got your never mind. You already had your closing one. So delete line 4, the closing squiggly bracket, and hit run. Hold on.
Got too many. Let's get rid of the else. Oh, no, actually, that's what it is. You just need your closing else. So just put a closing squiggly bracket on line 7. Okay. Yeah, closing squiggly bracket. There you go, and hit run. There we go.
There you go.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, and that's why usually we do like tabs for when we're putting like the squiggly brackets, so it's easier to see like where you're missing those curly brackets and stuff. So it's a good habit to get into. All right. And And you guys have had time to answer this next one. So answer is 16. And reason being, so it's starting, okay, starting at 4, and while I is less than 8, we're going to increase whatever the total of the sum is by I. So it starts at 4, right? So first time increases it to 4, second time increases it to 8, skips the 6, increases it, and then increase it to 12, increase it to 16. So it ends at 16. Any questions on that one?
And you do screen share,
Yeah.
please.
Oh, I keep thinking I'm doing screen share. I keep forgetting to do it. Thanks for letting me know.
It still didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I'll go over it again. So now that we have screen share, maybe it'll make more sense, right? All right. So we've got our I. So you have to like visualize it with your head, right? So it's starting with I equals 4, right? And then, okay, so what's it gonna do? First it checks, okay, does I equal 6? Nope. All right, well, forget that. So we're gonna take sum of 0 and do plus equals I. So since I equals 4, sum is now 4, right? And then it goes, and then what do we do at the end of the loop? We increase it by 1. So now I is 5, right? And so, oh yeah, I explained that wrong. Okay, so now I is 5, and then it's going to, okay, is it 6? Nope. Okay, so plus equals, so 4 plus 5 is now 9, right? Comes to the next one, and then it increases it by 1. Comes to the next one, and I is 6, and so it breaks the loop for this iteration. Comes up, now it's but it still increases I by 1, right? So now I is 7, and so 7 plus 9 is 16, and then it increases and it goes, okay, well, is it less than 8? No, it's 8, so we're going to stop. So it stopped at 16. Does that make sense? Or does
Am I the only idiot in the class? Please tell me I'm not.
okay,
No, I'm right there with you.
here, watch. We'll break it down. We'll break it down one at a time.
Because of the break.
The continue, you mean? Yeah, here, we'll break it
Yeah,
down.
because then I equals 7, and then it adds up 1, so that's 8 plus 8, 16.
Yeah, I was 9. Here, we'll break it down one at a time. No big deal. All right, so
When
Right.
I is 7,
yeah, I was 7 for the
Skip
last number.
6.
right?
Here,
skip
watch.
6.
Here, watch. We'll break it down one at a time. It's all good. So, so first, okay, we start with I is. Oh, actually, there's a great. This would be a good time to show you this. I don't remember what it's called, but let me see if I can find it. Code break. That's for Python. Let me see if there's one for JavaScript. Yes. It's not going to do it. Okay, so we'll just break it down one at a time. All right, so we start with our for loop, right? Our traditional for loop. And it's starting by setting the variable of I equals to 4, right? So the first time it comes through, it checks, okay, does I equal 6? Nope. All right, well then we're going to take sum, which is currently 0, and we're going to increase it by its current amount plus whatever I is, and I is starting with 4, right? So sum becomes 4, right? And now I is 5, because once it was done with that, it does increase the number I plus plus, right? So I is now 5. So it comes and looks at this and it says, okay, is I equal to 6? No. All right. And then do this. Well, it's not saying then do this. It's just saying, well, we're not going to do this if it's not. But anyway, so it's going to take sum, which is currently 4, and add what I is. So now sum is equal to 9, because we're doing, the 4 plus 5 is now 9, right? And then it increases I by 1. So now I is 6. And in this case, does I equal 6? Yep. Okay, well then continue. So don't increase it by this amount, because we're just going to stop executing this block of code and then move on to this, to increasing it. So now I is 7, right? So it comes down here. Okay, nope, I is not 6. So we're going to take the sum, whatever sum is, and plus equals whatever I is. We're going to add whatever I is to what sum currently is. So we're taking I of 7 plus 9 equals 16, right? And then once it's done, it increases it by 1. So now I is equal to 8. So this condition is no longer true. I is not less than 8. So we're done. So our final number is 16. Does that make sense to y'all?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Thank you for breaking it down like that.
Oh no,
Hey,
you're
Brandon,
welcome.
do you know of so like you showed us that site CSS-tricks and some other ones, or maybe it was you, I don't know. But is there a place, a website that you can just drill and repetitively practice these like basic JavaScript examples? Because the only way I'm gonna be able to figure it out down the road is to really just wrap my head around it now.
Right. And the answer is you do it on your website. So what we're gonna do when we stop here pretty soon is I'm gonna have you guys I'm gonna show you guys how to use we're gonna just like I showed you guys before, how we used a little bit of Python in order to post stuff to the other page. Well, I'm gonna show you guys that again, but then I'm gonna have you take whatever the answer is to that and use JavaScript to manipulate it, so that you guys can have a chance to try out some JavaScript stuff on your test website, and but having it be kind of like you're going to use JavaScript to act like you're doing the back end like you would with Python, but you're going to be doing it with JavaScript. I'll show you once we get there. But no, but to your question of, is there any one that I know that has you keep drilling it? No, not one that I've heard of. I mean, you could Google it, get the same answers I would get, because it's not something I've ever heard of, but there might be something out there like that. So it could be something.
No worries. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. And now, oh wait, we already did switch. Break and continue. Okay. So yeah. So Kevin B, could you answer this one? Oh, never mind. It's already answered.
Yeah, 6.
Okay, good. Michael East, can you answer the next one without me going to it?
Most likely not, but I'll give it a shot.
All right.
All right. Fill in the right keywords to test the conditions. Oh, shit. Fill in the right keywords to test the conditions.
If you need
No
help,
idea.
you phone a friend. Okay. So does anybody else want to try and answer that one?
Is it switch?
I don't know. Yep. Good. Switch and break and break.
Oh, I put continue. It's break.
All right. Sandra, can you try and answer the next one?
No, I'm not there yet.
Okay. Brian A, can you try and answer the next one? Are you trying to figure it out, Brian?
I'm trying to, is it if and then?
Let's see. Do and while. So, all right. Patricia, can you try and answer the next one?
That one's the last question.
Oh, it was? Okay. Well, then good job answering it. Oh, wait. Let's see. Oh, all right. So we'll do this last little part and then move on. Just go ahead, same as usual, just raise your hand once you are done. If there's anything you guys are unclear about or have questions, just let me know.
Feels like double jeopardy, man.
Oh, yeah.
I know what place I'm coming in on Jeopardy tonight.
Nah. You guys are doing good. It's just these are hard concepts to learn and understand and remember and stuff. But some of the most important stuff you'll be using, like these while loops and if statements and everything, are some of the main things you'll be using both in Python and in JavaScript. So doesn't matter how long it takes you to learn it, as long as eventually you get it down, then it's all that matters.
Yeah, I'll get it. I'll just I'm doing a lot of practicing in the off time, and I'm just gonna have to go over these more and more.
Good. Well, I know your work with CSS really paid off, so I imagine you did a lot of work on your off time with that too. And so I'm fully confident you're gonna do great with this too.
Yeah, we'll see. I was playing with that CSS and HTML all weekend too. It's kind of fun to build stuff, but this is, JavaScript's kind of the bread and butter I got to definitely figure out.
Yeah, but you will. And anything like I said, yeah, if you need something explained, multiple times, that's totally fine until you get it. Like if you need me to break it down, like I did that last question, that's totally fine too. Like I want to make sure you guys get it, and it doesn't matter how long it takes. Like we've got a year. We're only like a month in. So and we're already to like the important stuff. So you'll have take all the time you need. Ask all the questions you need. It's totally fine. I encourage it. All right. I know a lot of you guys are still working on it, but we're gonna move on. So with this one, so it wants us to figure out how many days it's gonna take for it to reach whatever the input is, right? So with this one, the depth is how far we need to get to, right? So we need to set up our variable days because at the end of the day, we're going to want to log how many days, right? So do a while loop, and while current depth is less than depth, as I created a new one for depth, and then we do so there's okay. First of all, let me explain. There's multiple ways to do this. You could have used a break statement. This is just how I did it, right? So if days is not equal to 0, because for the first one, we don't want to decrease the days. Wait, hold on. If days is not equal to 0, yeah, current depth minus equals 2. Okay. So that's so that because he falls back to each day, right? So if the current depth is still less than that, it's the first time we increase the days by 1, right? And we increase the current depth by 7, right? And then it does it again. It's so not on the first one because the first one he doesn't fall back. But we subtract 2 from whatever the current depth is and increase the days and increase that. And eventually it's going to get to where the current depth is greater than the depth. And so at that point it can stop and our loop's done and we can log the days. Again, there's multiple ways this could have been done, but this is just the route I took with it. So who's still struggling with this one? I imagine quite a bit of you because only like a few people finished, and that's fine. But who needs help? Just unmute and just let me know.
Yeah, I am, David.
Okay. All right. So you want to do screen share? Oh wait, I need to stop screen sharing. That's right. There you go. Okay.
Yeah, I stopped what I was doing and tried to copy down what you were showing.
Okay. So we'll start with current depth equals 0. So we'll set that variable.
What time we taking the kids to jujitsu? Shoot, man.
So yeah, do current depth equals 0. And then your semicolon to finish that off. And then go to the next line. And we're going to do while current depth is less than depth. So yeah, while, and then put your parentheses because we're doing whatever's in the parentheses for our while loop. So current depth less than depth. And just choose that top one, that current depth right there that's filling it in for you, just so make sure we don't get any spelling errors or whatever. Less than depth. Yeah, you can just choose it. And then, so now go outside your parentheses and put your curly brackets. And we're going to do if days or we'll start with your if and then your parentheses, because if and then what's in the parentheses is this condition. So days not equal 0. So, oh, sorry, for not equals, it's exclamation point and then equal. So days. Oh, well, you got to here, delete that. You got to put days. And then exclamation point equals 0. And then your closing parentheses and then your curly brackets. And do current depth minus equals 2. You just choose current depth. Minus equals 2. And then your semicolon. Okay, and then click out of there to your, so click to the end of line 8 and hit enter. Okay, and now do days plus equals 1. And then your semicolon. And then next line, and then current depth plus equals 7. And then click to line 12. And just type console.log and then in parentheses days. Okay, and then go ahead and hit run. I don't know if there's any errors. I look, but no, yeah, you're good to go. All right. Is anybody else still trying to figure that one out? If so, just unmute and just let me know.
Yeah, I'm still having issues.
Okay. Do you want to do screen share? Okay. Hit. Oh, let me see what year. Oh, you need an E in console on 13. Yeah, always check your error logs. Did you see that error log on the left though?
Yeah, it was right here.
Always check that. Error logs are great for telling you what if you've got any bugs or whatever. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I did that on purpose just so I could kind of look at the error log again. Does
Yeah,
it
yeah.
tell you exactly where?
Yeah, it's saying line, or well, it's saying line 29, but that's probably because they have more stuff that you don't see that's above that, and they're saying it's starting at 1. But it shows you right there where it says console.log and how it's misspelled, so you at least see what's written on that line. So, yeah. All right. Is anybody else still trying to get that one to work? Just unmute and just let me know. Okay.
I'm having issues.
Oh, okay. Do you want to do screen share?
Yeah.
Okay. You need a closing curly bracket on line 14. Oh. And now hit run. You may need more, but we'll see. Nope, you're good to go.
Good.
Yeah, you probably
Thanks.
accidentally deleted their closing curly bracket. No big deal. All right, anybody else need help? Unmute and let me know. Nope. Okay. In that case, let's move on to, we're gonna go ahead and take some of what we've learned and play around with it in our actual Visual Studio. So go ahead and even though this says test 2, just go ahead and imagine this is your main.py, right? So the first thing we're gonna have to do is, well, actually, you might as well just copy everything. So copy everything from your get statement, right? And all your HTML that's right there. And then you're gonna paste it evenly with the one that is, so you're gonna paste it below it, but make sure it's the same amount of tabs or spaces that it's currently on, right? And then we're gonna change this to post, and I'll give you guys a second to get caught up. So on our main.py or on our main page, we're copying all this and pasting it down here evenly with the thing. And then we're changing it to post. Is anybody not caught up yet? Because if you're not caught up, just unmute, let me know. Otherwise, we'll continue.
Absolutely
I
lost.
am not caught up.
Oh, okay. Let's do it this way. Jacob, can you do screen share?
Yes.
Okay. And go to your main.py. Oh, are you
Okay.
on your main.py? Oh, okay. So scroll up. Okay. So everything from line 11 down, we're going to copy.
Okay, so from 11 down.
Yeah, and actually, just to make it easier, because you got a bunch of stuff you're not going to need, just go down to line 17. Yeah, right there, and copy there, and then scroll down. Okay, so now click to line 135, click to the beginning of that and paste it. Okay, it's not even. Go ahead and add a space, or actually click to the beginning of line 135, like right before the D, and hit delete. And now hit tab, because we want to make sure it's tabbed over evenly. Okay, and now click to the end of line 140. The end, yeah. And hit enter. And now add 3 double quotation marks. No, quotation marks. 3 double quotes. No, that's a single quote. We need 3 double ones. There you go. And now add your closing parentheses. There you go. And then on line 135, change get to post. On line 135. Okay, and now let's go ahead and finish out your HTML document. So click to the end of line 140 and then hit enter. And add your closing head tag. And hit enter. And add your closing or opening and closing body statement body tag. Now hit enter and add your closing HTML tag. All right, and just so that for readability purposes, let's highlight line 138 to line 141. And hold control and hit the bracket, the one that's right under the minus. So like the opening bracket or opening curly bracket, same one. Control and then and then hit it again. There you go. Okay, so now we've got our head spaced one tab over from our HTML. So then click to the beginning of your body tag and do the same thing. There you go. And then click to your HTML and just hit delete till it gets to the beginning. One more over so it's even. That way we've got everything even with our body tags and stuff. Okay, and then click in between your opening and closing body tag. In between the body tags on line 142. And just hit enter a couple times. Okay, cool. And so now this is the post page, right where your cursor is. Okay, is everybody caught up to this where we have our get and our post pages? If you're not caught up, just unmute and let me know.
Is there any way that could get pasted into the chat though? Because it was a lot of like back and forth for a little bit, and I wasn't sure what we were going to be finished with.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you go ahead and copy all that? It will end the probably the death post stuff too. So from 135 to 146. But make sure you get it from the beginning of 135 because that tab counts. Because with Python, click to expand. There you go. Because with Python, tabs are curly brackets.
I think I'm caught up, but you created like a second test page for me or something like that.
Okay. Do you want to do here? Can you do screen share real quick?
Yes. Crap, I can't even. What the heck? I can't grab this thing.
Do the oh, okay.
This is the test page. Oh, you
Okay,
can't-
and then go to your main.py.
So
Okay, and then scroll up to your,
you created a test 2.
yeah, but let's scroll up to see what's going on there.
Because I have a whole bunch of stuff on there.
Oh, is that your resume page, that main page?
No, I got a whole bunch of stuff on here. This
Okay,
is-
so it's just playing around with stuff. It's not your resume page, so we can mess with.
no, yeah, it's on my resume page.
Okay, cool. We'll keep scrolling up because I want to see the beginning of it. Okay, yeah, it's just a regular main.py, the same as everything else. The test 2 is just you've got an extra test page that you can reference. But we can still paste that stuff from the chat. So copy the stuff from the chat that he just pasted, and then let me know once you got it copied.
Because this is what my main.py looks like. It's got a bunch of stuff.
Nice.
So you created a test 2 page.
Oh, okay, for also testing out. Yeah, but that's
on
not.
on the same page here.
Yeah, that's not going to affect what we're doing though. So just copy the stuff from the chat that he just posted, and then let me know once you got that.
Gotcha.
I'm not seeing any change on the page. Should I?
Oh, no, because we haven't done anything. We haven't even.
I'm gonna start sharing this thing.
We haven't got to the post page. Oh, wait, no, you can keep sharing. Because
Where does that get pasted at, Brandon? Can you continue with him or mine or something?
yeah,
just to show that?
Lewis, can you do screen share, and then I'll show everybody with your page, because that's what I was about to do.
Okay, sorry. It was
Okay, so do you have it copied from the chat?
not yet. This is it
Okay.
right.
Yeah, just let me know once it's copied.
And I'm copying it where?
Okay, once it's copied, just click to line 320
320.
and just paste it. Okay, well, we're gonna need to add, so click to the beginning of line 320 and add a tab. Oh, did the chat not have the closing? No, it had the closing. That's weird that it didn't copy. Okay, click to the end of line 330.
Okay.
And add 3 double quotation marks. Or yeah, quotation marks. And then closing parentheses. Yeah, he had that in the chat, but somehow I guess you didn't copy it. Oh, yeah, and the closing parentheses, yeah.
Parentheses.
Yeah, just like that. Perfect. Okay. So basically what we're doing is right below our main.py page, we're just pasting this post section, right? Were you able to do that, Michael, or did you need help?
Yeah, if you want to look at mine real quick, I'm kind of
Okay.
lost on where these lines are.
No worries. Okay. Just do screen share.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I just took what was, I copied this and pasted it between line 100 and 110, but I don't know if that's correct.
It probably is. Click to the beginning of the def. Yes, we're scrolling.
Sorry.
No worries. Click to the beginning of the def on line 100, so right before the D. Yeah, and hit delete once. And you're good to go.
Okay.
Anybody else still struggling, need help?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I did it correctly or not.
Okay, can you do screen share? And don't expect to see anything. We're just getting this part done so that we have a page we can go to, but I'll explain that in a sec. You look good, except your def. It looks like you click to the beginning of the D, hit delete, and then hit tab. Okay, and then scroll up. It should be good, but let me make sure. slowly scroll up. I'll make sure that's your main.py. Yeah, it is. Okay, or your main page one. Okay. Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Anybody else need help? Lewis, your hand's up. Did you have a question?
Okay. No. It was up for the help
Okay.
earlier.
Well, sounds good. Okay. So I'm assuming we're all caught up, yeah? Okay. In that case, let's continue. So now that we have, and again, imagine this says main page right here, right? Now that we have our main page and our post page. So I don't know if you guys remember back when we were doing forms, right? HTML forms, and I kind of explained def or get and post, but I'm just going to explain it again. So the get page, whenever you go to a website, right? The first page you go to is the get page, because it's just the initial page that you go to by just clicking the link and going to it, right? Then the post page, and with the get page, it is possible to send form data in the browser in the URL, right? By actually adding it, so like you add the question mark and then what the different variables equal and stuff. I'm not gonna get into how to do that because I want you guys to always use post. But long story short, you can send form data that way. But the best way to send form data is then to send it to a post page, because instead of it being in the URL, and what I mean by being in the URL is like, so like you have, let's see, like in the URL to send like form data, you'd have, slash whatever the page name is, and then it adds like a question mark, and then like name equals name, and phone equals phone, or whatever your form data is. But anyway, we don't want to do that. What we want to do is now send form data from the get page to the post page. And so now here's the part where you guys will follow along. So at the top of your body section, so let's go ahead and click into there, and just like bring everything else down. We're gonna add a form tag, right? And we're gonna specify that the method that we're sending this form is equal to post, and the action that we're sending it to is, since you're on your main page and the main page doesn't have like a slash, whatever the page name is, you're just going to add a slash right there, right? So your action is just going to be /. For me, to ignore what I'm doing, I have to actually put test2. Let me check. Yeah. I have to put test2 because I'm posting it from the test2 page to the test2 page. But anyway, you guys just remember, you're just putting the action as slash, right? And then, so I always start by closing my form tags before doing anything else, just so you don't forget to close it. But now we're going to do a couple of input tags, right? And with input tags, the first thing you have to specify is the type. So in this case, the input type is going to be text, right? There's lots of different input types. You can have input type checkbox, input type tel for telephone number, input type email, all sorts of input types. But if you do input type text, they're just going to type basically a string value, right? So it can be pretty much anything. And the user's gonna type it. And now the next, hold on, I'm gonna mute some people. Getting some feedback. There we go. Okay. So next, we're gonna name our input type. So let's just name it user input. We can name it whatever. It's just a variable, but we're happy to name it user input, right? And then we're going to close the input tag, and the input tag does not need a closing tag. It's just by itself, just like a break tag or whatever. But then finally, what we need to add is an input type submit, so that it creates a submit button. And you don't need to name your input tag, but if you do, and you give it a value, well, you don't name it, but you give it a value, and you say value is whatever you put for the value is what's going to print in that little button, the submit button, as opposed to the default of it would just say submit, right? So we're just going to say it send info, because it's sending whatever the user's input is, right? So now when you go ahead and run that, it should look something like this, with just like a box to type in, and then below it's going to be all whatever you've got on your page. You know, you can delete it if you want. It's just stuff you're playing around with. And then a little button that says send info, right? So let me know when your guys's page looks like that, or I'll give you guys a few seconds to make sure your page looks like that, and then I'll ask if anybody still needs to get caught up.
I don't have a page that it goes to now that I've created this.
Can you do screen share so I can see what you're talking about?
So I don't like this information doesn't post on any of my pages, like it's
right, because we haven't gotten there yet. We have to submit the post button to see that. So delete test2 off the URL and hit enter. Okay, did you add the so scroll up, did you add the form? Or yeah, click there and scroll up. Did you add the form on your main.py?
Hey, Brandon, is this still recording?
Yeah.
Okay, I have to get my kids to jujitsu, but I'm gonna reference this and kind of pick it up later.
Oh, I didn't notice it was 4. Yeah, my bad. All right, have a good one.
Oh, good, thank you.
Anybody else who needs to go is cool too. But if you want to stick around, I'm gonna stick around and show whoever. But if you can't stick around, then I'll show you tomorrow after we get done with what's it called? The training part of the class. Okay, so scroll up from here.
I'll type in the form in there.
Oh, you were putting the form there?
Yeah, this is where.
Oh, yeah, no, the form needs to be in your main page. So that's all good. Leave it like that. But then scroll up to your top. Okay, well, we want to be in the body. So scroll down so that we're in the body section. Okay, so like right there. And I'll just paste in the chat what I just did.
Okay, great.
So you can just copy and paste it there. So give me one sec. and I'm changing it to from test2 to just slash, so y'all can paste it just like that if you don't have it already. Okay, it's in the chat. There you go, perfect. Okay, so now go to your browser and hit refresh.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so you don't even need to type anything because we didn't make it required. Just hit send info. So that's how you get to that page, because you can't just navigate to a post page. You have to be posting data to the page in order to get to the post page. So, but anyway, we haven't actually posted anything. Is anybody still trying to get caught up? If so, just unmute and let me know.
Yeah, I'm still having issues.
Okay, can you do screen share?
Yes. Apparently it copied.
Oh, okay. So you're missing. Oh, wait. You
Okay.
posted it inside your. You posted the def stuff inside. Well, what's going on? Inside your main page. We need to change that. So, cut from line 98 to 109. So highlight it and then Control X.
109.
Yeah, Control X. And scroll down. Keep going down. Okay, so now click to. Oh wait. Oh, okay, you've got it there. But you put your. You just put the form stuff on the post page. You just need to put it in your body page. So highlight. So you don't even need to post it because you've already got it. So highlight from line 161 to 164, and you actually don't need to delete it because we'll leave that in there because we can use that later. So just copy that and then scroll up. Keep going just to the beginning of your body. Oh, right there. So no, so just paste that in on line 97. And then delete line 103 because now you've got an extra closing form tag. Okay, and save that. And then run it in your browser. Okay, and just hit send info. Test. Click back to your Visual Studio. Oh, well, you added action test for some reason. Delete on line 97. Inside the action test, just change that to a slash, a forward slash. Save that and then go click that, refresh first, and now hit submit. And there you go. So now, is anybody else still trying to get caught up? No. Okay. In that case, I'm gonna do screen share. Okay. So now that we have our main page with a form on it that submits to our post page, we're going to want to do something with it. So what we're going to do is, so first we're going to get that variable that we put in the form, right? So we're going to take our name user input and copy it, and then come here so that we are even with our self response.write. So it should be 4 spaces over, so 1, 2, 3, 4 from the post, or a tab. It's just mine's breaking the tabs down by 2. And then we're going to paste the user input. So that's going to be our Python variable name. So unlike JavaScript with Python, you don't have to put var. If you just put some text, it knows that that's going to be a variable. If you then do equals, and we're going to do self dot request because we're sending a post request, and then we're going to do dot get because we want to get the from the post, we want to get the one that's named user input. So we're taking whatever the user types in this input, we're getting it here and saving it into this variable user input, right? And then to start, let's just go ahead and start by just printing it to the screen. And to do that, we add at the end of our 3 dots or our 3 exclamation point or quotation marks closing, add a dot between that and the closing parentheses, and we type format, and then add opening and closing parentheses, and then we're going to paste our user input again. We're going to say user input equals user input, and then add a comma. And what we're doing here, well, first let's go ahead. Well, let me keep going. I'll explain this part and then it'll make more sense. So now inside our body, we're going to add squiggly brackets and then add user input inside. So what it's doing here is saying inside. So this is kind of similar to with JavaScript, how we learned how you could put the $sign and then the squiggly brackets to insert stuff into a string, right? Well, with Python, you can insert stuff into a string by doing dot format, and then inside your string, you just put the squiggly brackets. So the only problem is then for anything in your string, if you want to add actual squiggly brackets, then you have to do that. You have to make them double squiggly brackets to cancel out. But I'm just going to go ahead and delete this script so I don't have to do that to the script. But so now, so what this is doing, so again, we define this variable user input, and it takes whatever input the user types, right? And then we're getting it by doing the self request.get and putting it into this variable. So whatever the user typed is now in this variable. So now we're saying this user input, which is this user input. So right here equals user input, which is this variable here. I know it's a lot to follow. So anyway, long story short, whatever the user types here when we post the page is going to appear in our body here, right? So so now we go here and we'll just type hello world, or type whatever you want. What happened? Oh, I didn't save it. Okay. So hello world, and then it's going to appear in our body. So well, let me know when you guys are all caught up to there. Or actually, don't let me know. I'll give you guys some time, and then I'll see if you guys are all caught up. And if any of y'all need to go, that's totally fine. We're past time. I get it.
Now, I believe it's functioning properly, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, can you do screen share?
Oh. Just happened.
Oh, we'll try type something in there. Yeah, it's working.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good to go. Okay, is everybody else caught up, or you guys?
Mine is not working. I
Okay.
got a syntax error somewhere.
Okay, can you do screen share? Yeah, so it just needs the closing parentheses. So let's click to your Visual
Someone.
Studio. Okay. Oh, I see. So,
Oops. Wrong one.
no worries. So click to the end of line 80 and add a closing parentheses. And you're good to go. Save that. Now it looks like you still need to add here. Click back to your Visual Studio. Okay, so add so click to line 73.
73.
And then add opening and closing curly brackets.
Opening and closing which brackets?
Curly brackets. You should just be able to put opening and then it should finish it. Yeah, good. And then now type user input. Okay, and you should be good to go. So save that. Control S that, and then go to your browser.
I closed it by mistake.
No worries. Just go to your browser and type 127, and it should pop up. Oh no, your Flask's still running. Hit cancel.
Oops.
I don't think it caused any issues, but I don't know. Just go to your browser and type 127. To your browser.
Oh, browser.
Yeah,
Oops.
yeah. So just create a new window or something, or yeah, just type 127, and then hit enter to finish it. Okay, go back to your Visual Studio. Oh no, go back to your Visual Studio. Okay, and then oh, you put squiggly brackets instead of parentheses. So on line 81, change those squiggly brackets to parentheses.
Oh.
So 2 parentheses there. Oh, okay, that works. So opening parentheses there, and then 2 closing parentheses. And then put a comma after the last user input, just because it won't give you an error, but it's a good habit to get into, because then later, if you need to add more variables in there, you can. Okay, so now go to your browser and hit refresh. Okay, and just type something. And hit send.
There we go.
Okay, does anybody else still need to get caught up? No? Okay, cool. Then I am going to do share screen and show you guys this last part. And then we will be done. So we're like almost 30 minutes over. I apologize. Just wanted to finish this up for y'all. And y'all will be ahead of the game for tomorrow. So from here, now that we have our user input, we're gonna go ahead and take our script tag and we're gonna put it before our user input so that we can then go ahead and actually do it or do something with it. So now we're gonna do var equals, or sorry, var user input equals, and then at the end of this user input, we're gonna put a semicolon, and before and after the user input, we're going to put opening and closing quotation marks, double quotation marks. Now we can do whatever we want with this user input, right? So this is the point where you can test out your code, your JavaScript stuff by trying different user input. So we'll start with something basic. So we'll just start by having it repeat itself a couple times. So we'll just do for, and then our opening and closing parentheses, and we'll do I equals 0 because I is a common thing we use for variables. And then for our second one, we're gonna do while I is less than 10, and then we'll put our other separating semicolon, and then I plus plus, so that we're doing a loop of I, basically 10 times it's going to go over I, right? But since we're doing dot format, we're going to have to actually put another squiggly bracket over our, so you have to do 2 squiggly brackets because that's the way you escape the squiggly brackets when you're doing dot format in Python. And so here we'll just do document write, and then we'll do I plus, and then a break tag. And break tag in quotes. So now, when we run that, so save that, and I'll come back to this screen. So now, when we run that,
get a cell phone plan from a company who shares your values. Join your get started today.
Oh, I'm having it print I, not. My bad. I meant to put user input plus break. So, so now we're able to put some sort of user input and then test out our JavaScript code. And if you want to not have to hit back, we can copy this form and put it in our body so that we can test it out. So from that form, then we can do right? And it's going to do the same thing and allow us to repeat itself because we're posting to the same page, but we're still getting the input. So people all right, but I'll go back to this. So I'll leave this up for a bit. Is anybody struggling to get this? Like, it's not just a matter of trying to copy the stuff down, but like your pencil's not working bad. If so, just speak up and just let me know.
I feel like what I just did broke it.
Okay, you want to do screen share?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you've got user. Okay, well, first you need to put your closing script tag on line 157. And then let's delete that line 158 just because you're adding it again and we don't need to do that. So delete that and then save that and go ahead and try that out. Did you not add your, go back to
don't, yeah.
Yeah, let me go back to your Visual Studio. You might not add your incrementer or something. Oh yeah, you put, you didn't put a, wait, no. Looks right. Huh. Why is it giving you issues? Oh, put a semicolon at the end of line 155. Okay, save that and refresh it. Or yeah, click back and then hit refresh. And now type something and hit submit. Why is it being like that? It's like taking for days. Like it's in a infinite loop. But it shouldn't be. Yeah, let's go back to Visual Studio. Hmm. Oh, you put 1 less than 10, so that's going to go forever. Put while I is less than 10. There you go. And then save that and run it. And there you go.
Okay.
Okay. Does anybody else need help?
I do.
Okay. Can you do screen share?
Notwithstanding that, this is the #1 issue in this race. 80% of America feeling the cuts across race and gender and geography, how people think about it.
What am I missing?
Can you make it bigger? It's hard to see.
Sorry.
No worries. Cut your closing script tag from line 95 and paste it to line 82. And then delete lines 95 and 97. Okay, and then save that and try running it. Oh, wait, your paragraph tag, this is the post page, is inside your script tag. So let's cut that from line 75 and paste it on line 90 or 84, I mean. Cut, if you do cut, you don't have to go back and delete it later, but whatever. If you just hit delete now, that'll fix it. And then paste it on line 85.
On 85?
Yeah. Okay, and then save that and go ahead and delete line 74 too, because that's we don't want to put that in there. Okay, save that and run it. You put your line 78 in squiggly brackets. It needs to be in parentheses.
I couldn't quite see.
Yeah, it was hard little. I didn't notice it either. And then save that and run it. And there you go. All right. So now whenever we're testing out JavaScript stuff, you guys can just write the JavaScript code and then paste it. And we can and let's go ahead and can you go to your Visual Studio again? Okay, let's scroll up to where you've got the form. Okay, so yeah, copy from line 23 to 26. And go down to your post page and paste that on line 84. Okay, scroll up for a little bit because I think your form was in like a script tag. You should move that. Keep scrolling up. Yeah. Oh no, it's not. I was wrong because your script tag starts after it, so you're good to go. Okay, but yeah, now you can go back to your browser and you'll see the change. Go hit.
Darn dog.
That's all good. Hit refresh. So now, like, type something new. You can, and then hit enter or submit. And so, like, now you can just keep doing stuff, and it'll process it over and over without having to go back to the home page, right? Because it's still posting to the post section, so it's posting to itself.
All right.
So yeah, so we're good to go. I will see you guys tomorrow again. Sorry we went over. I should have just stopped this when I saw it was 4 and then picked up, but at least y'all will be ahead of the curve and y'all can just be working on your stuff when everybody's doing doing this stuff. So, all right, have a good one.
Have a good night.